Hello students, welcome back to the chemistry class. We were dealing with the chapter alcohols, phenols and ethers. So far we have discussed in this chapter the definition of alcohols, classification of alcohols, nomenclature of alcohols, methods of preparation, physical properties of alcohols and chemical properties of alcohols. In chemical properties we have discussed the reactions involving the cleavage of OH bond. Today we will discuss the reactions involving the cleavage of CO bond. The second type of chemical reactions are reactions involving the cleavage of carbon to oxygen bond. And as we have discussed in the last class, when there is a cleavage of carbon and oxygen bond, alcohols will be acting as a electrophile. So when there is a cleavage of carbon to oxygen bond, what happens? This carbon will be getting positive charge. That means it is electron deficient. So there is a formation of carbocation. So in these reactions, the reactive intermediate is carbocation, and depending upon the stability of carbocation, the rate of reaction also varies. So in all these reactions, the reactivity of tertiary carbocation or tertiary alcohols will be more compared to the secondary and compared to the primary alcohol. As tertiary carbocation is a reactive intermediate, it is more stable, so it undergoes faster reaction. We will discuss that later according to the reactions. The first reactions in this is reaction with hydrogen halide. The first reaction is reactions with reaction of alcohol with hydrogen halide, that is HX. So here X may be any halogen, chlorine, bromine or iodine. Okay. So what happens? Alcohols reacts with hydrogen halides to form alkyl halides, and water will be the byproduct. So when alcohol reacts with hydrogen halide, what we are getting as a product? We get alkyl halide and water will be the byproduct. So what happens? Alcohol is generally represented as ROH, which reacts with hydrogen halide. There is a formation of alkyl halide. How the alkyl halide is formed? As I said, there is a removal of water molecule. So this goes out as H2O, and there is a formation of RX plus H2O. So here OH group is replaced by X. That is, it is a nucleophilic substitution reaction where there is a replacement of OH minus, or this hydroxyl ion is replaced by X minus, that is halide is replacing the hydroxide ion. So nucleophilic substitution reaction takes place. We will see some examples here. As I said, HX may be any hydrogen halide. It may be hydrogen iodide, hydrogen bromide or hydrogen chloride. So when alcohol reacts with hydrogen halide, that is hydrogen iodide, there is a formation of alkyl iodide plus water. So OH is replaced by iodine. Similarly, alcohol on reaction with HBr, there is a formation of alkyl bromide and water. When alcohol reacts with hydrogen chloride, there is a formation of alkyl chloride and water. So on reaction with hydrogen iodide, it gives respective alkyl iodide. On reaction with hydrogen bromide, it gives respective alkyl bromide. On reaction with HCl, it gives alkyl chloride. Here, the reactivity of these hydrogen halides towards alcohol is different. The reactivity order of these hydrogen halide follows this trend, that is HI is more reactive than HBr, then HCl. This is based on the bond dissociation enthalpy. I minus can be released very easily. It is a better nucleophile. So HI reacts faster compared to HBr and HCl. And for the same reason, as HCl is having low reactivity, here we have to use anhydrous zinc chloride as a catalyst. Okay, so what happens? This OH minus should go out so that Cl minus comes in this place. Absence of this catalyst also the reaction takes place, but because of its low reactivity, it is very slow reaction. To increase the rate of the reaction, we have to use this as a catalyst so that this bond is cleaved very easily and the substitution takes place easily. We'll see some examples for this reaction now. The first example is, if I take ethyl alcohol, that is CH3CH2OH, when this is treated with concentrated HCl in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, there is a formation of ethyl chloride, CH3CH2Cl plus H2O. So, when ethyl alcohol or this ethanol is treated with concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride, there is a formation of chloroethane. This is the first example. Second example, if I take here propane 2-ol. This is propane 2-ol. When it is subjected for the same reaction, what happens? There is a formation of OH replaced by Cl. So what we get here? We get 2-chloropropane. We are getting here 2-chloropropane. Okay, and here we are using the same catalyst, that is anhydrous zinc chloride. Okay, so this is the primary alcohol and this is the secondary alcohol. And I hope you remember this reagent, that is a mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride. This is nothing but the Lucas reagent, right? So what is Lucas reagent? It is the mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride. Why it is used? This mixture is used, or the Lucas reagent is used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. How it distinguishes these alcohols? Depending upon the time taken to form the product, right? So how you get to know the product is formed? Depending upon the precipitate formed by the addition of alcohol with the HCl. So on reaction, whatever the alkyl halide we get, that is in the precipitate form. It forms a turbidity. It is insoluble in water, so it is forming a turbidity. Depending upon the rate of formation of that turbidity, we decide whether it is a faster reaction or slow reaction. So by the addition of Lucas reagent to primary alcohol, we get turbidity only after heating. To increase the rate of the reaction, we use catalytic, but still for primary alcohol, on heating we get the turbidity. Whereas for secondary alcohol, after mixing we have to wait for some time. After that we get the turbidity. And what happens in case of tertiary alcohol? If we take, see, tertiary alcohol, I take an example of tertiary butyl alcohol here. This is tertiary butyl alcohol or 2-methyl propane 2-ol. This is tertiary alcohol. So when this is treated with concentrated HCl, no need of the catalyst also. Just by the addition of concentrated HCl to the tertiary butyl alcohol, we get the immediate turbidity by the formation of tertiary butyl chloride. By the formation of tertiary butyl chloride. So this is formed as soon as we mix these two things. Okay, no need of the catalyst also. So that means this reaction is faster. Tertiary alcohols are undergoing reaction faster compared to the secondary and primary. This I told in the beginning itself, right? So that is, the carbocation is the intermediate during this mechanism or during this reaction. The tertiary carbocation is more stable, so that's why it undergoes reaction at a faster rate. So order of reactivity of different alcohols is tertiary alcohol undergoes reaction faster than secondary, then primary alcohol. This is the reactivity order of different alcohols towards the hydrogen halides. The second reaction is reaction with phosphorus halide. So alcohols reacts with phosphorus halides like PCl3, PCl5, PBr3, PI2, that is phosphorus trichloride, phosphorus pentachloride, phosphorus tribromide, phosphorus triiodide. So when alcohol reacts with such halides, it gives respective alkyl halide. So it gives respective alkyl halide. So what happens, see here, if I consider an alcohol ROH, when it is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, there is a formation of alkyl chloride and phosphorus oxychloride, then HCl will be the byproduct. So like this the reaction takes place. Alcohol 1 OH is replaced by 1 Cl. So alcohol on reaction with phosphorus pentachloride, there is a formation of alkyl chloride, phosphorus oxychloride and HCl. Similarly, the same alcohol, if it is treated with PCl3, there is a formation of 3 moles of alkyl chloride. All the OH group is substituted by all the 3 chlorides. So we need 3 moles, completely it is utilized. So there is a formation of orthophosphorus acid. So alcohol on reaction with phosphorus trichloride, there is a formation of alkyl chloride and orthophosphorus acid, very important byproduct. So this is formed as a byproduct. So like this the reaction takes place. Even we can take here PbR3, Pi3, phosphorus tribromide and phosphorus triiodides can be taken, but they are not stable, so we have to prepare them in situ by using red phosphorus with bromine or red phosphorus with iodine. So that is to be taken so that they react to form PbR3 and Pi3 during the reaction, and that combines with alcohol and gives respective bromide or iodide. These are unstable, so we are not getting it. That's why we have to prepare it in situ by using red phosphorus with bromine or red phosphorus with iodine. So this is to be taken, this mixture is to be taken with alcohol on reaction gives the respective bromides and iodides, whereas pentahalides, that is pentabromide and pentaiodides, are not available. It is not forming. Okay, so only these two are available, that too by the reaction of these red phosphorus with bromine and red phosphorus with iodine. In situ we are getting those two compounds. Okay, we'll write some examples here now. If I take ethyl alcohol on reaction with PCl5, there is a formation of C2H5Cl, that is ethyl chloride or chloroethane with the remaining byproducts. Okay, similarly, if it is treated with phosphorus trichloride, there is a formation of ethyl chloride and orthophosphorus acid. If I take here PbR3, you are getting here C2H5Br, bromoethane will be formed. Okay, so like this the alcohols reacts with phosphorus halides. The third reaction is dehydration. Dehydration means loss of water. So what happens when alcohol loses water molecule? See here, alcohol undergoes dehydration on heating with protic acids like concentrated H2SO4 or acid. Phosphoric acid gives alkenes. So alcohols on losing water molecule, what they give? They give alkenes on reaction with, on heating with sulfuric acid and phosphoric acid. Okay, so if I take an example of an alcohol, consider this is an alcohol. So when this is heated with sulfuric acid, what happens? This on heating with an acid, there is a loss of water molecule. So H from one carbon, OH from adjacent carbon, that goes out as H2O. So when H2O is eliminated, it is nothing but elimination reaction. So when elimination reaction takes place, there is a formation of an unsaturated compound. So when this H2O is removed, there is a formation of double bond between these two carbon atoms. So what we get here as a product? We get here alkene. So alcohol on dehydration gives an alkene. Alcohols on dehydration gives alkene. By the loss of water, it gives alkene. On addition of water, when we add water to the alkene, we get the alcohol. So it is a reversible reaction. Okay, so we will see some examples for this now. The first example I take here of ethanol, that is ethyl alcohol. So when ethanol is heated with sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin temperature, there is a loss of water, H from this carbon, OH from this carbon, from adjacent carbons they are removed as H2O. So there is a formation of CH2 double bond CH2, that is ethene is formed. So ethanol on dehydration gives ethene. Okay, the second example is propane to all. When this is subjected for dehydration, we don't need here the sulfuric acid, as it is a secondary alcohol. The reactivity of secondary alcohol is more compared to the primary alcohol. So just by using the milder acid also the reaction takes place. So we are using here phosphoric acid, that too 85% concentrated phosphoric acid is enough to carry out the reaction, and the temperature required is less compared to the first case, that is 440 Kelvin temperature is enough. So what happens? OH from this carbon and hydrogen from the adjacent carbon. You can take from here or from here. So we are getting the product propene. We are getting propene as a product. Okay. This is propane to all on dehydration gives propene. The third example is tertiary butyl alcohol. If I take tertiary butyl alcohol, this undergoes dehydration under milder condition, that is we need just 20% of phosphoric acid. So 20% of phosphoric acid and 358 Kelvin temperature is enough to carry out the dehydration. So again OH from this carbon and hydrogen from any adjacent carbon we remove. So we get the product 2-methyl propene. 2-methyl propene is formed as a product and H2O is eliminated. So you can see here this is primary alcohol, secondary alcohol and tertiary alcohol. As we know, tertiary alcohol undergoes reaction faster, as the intermediate is tertiary carbocation. It undergoes faster reaction, its reactivity is more. So we need here milder condition to carry out the dehydration process. Whereas in secondary, comparatively less reactive compared to the tertiary. So need more stronger condition. For primary it is least reactive, so we need concentrated acid, strong acid at a higher temperature so that the dehydration takes place. This is about the dehydration reaction. Now we will discuss the mechanism of conversion of ethanol to ethene. So ethanol is CH3, CH2, OH. When this is heated with concentrated sulfuric acid, we are getting ethene. So for this reaction, we have to study the mechanism. So mechanism contains 3 steps. The first step is formation of protonated alcohol. Second step, the loss of water to form carbocation. The third step is loss of proton. So we will study the mechanism. The first step, step 1 is formation of protonated alcohol. Okay, so what happens here? CH3, CH2OH, or I'll write it like this. CH3, CH2OH. Okay, oxygen carries lone pair of electron. when it is treated with concentrated acid, when it is treated with the acid, as there is the presence of lone pair of electron on oxygen, it offsets that proton. Acid donates a proton and that proton is taken by the oxygen. So when it takes up the proton, there is a formation of protonated alcohol. So we get here CH3, CH2. Now oxygen gives one lone pair to hydrogen to form a bond. So single bond is formed between the hydrogen taken and the oxygen. So now as oxygen gives its electron to form a bond, oxygen gets the positive charge. So this is called as protonated alcohol. Now in step 2, what happens? In this, observe here, this is H2O, which is a stable molecule, which can form a stable molecule. So what happens? This goes out as H2O by leaving or by taking both the electrons from this bond. So the second step is the formation of carbocation. Formation of carbocation by the loss of water molecule. So from the protonated alcohol, CH3, CH2, OH2 plus. So from this, what happens? The loss of water molecule takes place. As oxygen is more electronegative, it can't bear the positive charge. So it takes up the electron from this bond. Both the electrons are taken by oxygen. So that this goes out as H2O, and now carbon becomes electron deficient. So it gets the positive charge, and that's how we get our carbocation. That is ethyl carbocation is formed. CH3, CH2 plus. So ethyl carbocation is formed by the loss of water molecule. So like this, the second step takes place, formation of carbocation. The third step is loss of proton. The last step, what happens? There is a loss of proton takes place from this ethyl carbocation. So what happens? CH3, CH2 plus. See this, as it is an unstable molecule, it is an intermediate. So we have to get the stable molecule. So what happens? As this is electron deficient, the electron from here is given between carbon and carbon to form a double bond, and hydrogen goes out as H plus. That is nothing but the regeneration of a acid catalyst takes place. So there is a formation of CH2 double bond CH2. So ethene is formed by the loss of proton. So this is nothing but the acidic proton which was taken up in the first step, that was lost at the last step. So this is how ethene is formed, and here this is a reversible reaction. So as soon as we get the ethene, we have to remove it, otherwise the backward reaction takes place. Okay, so this is how we get ethene, and also remember this is a reversible process, which is a fast reaction. This this protonated alcohol is called as ethyl oxonium ion. This is ethyl oxonium ion, in which we have positive charge on oxygen with the extra hydrogen. So from here the loss of water takes place to form ethyl carbocation in the second step. And here this is the slow step, which is the rate determining step. Okay, so this is the mechanism of conversion of ethanol to ethene, very important for 3 marks. The third type of reaction which alcohols undergoes is oxidation. Here the oxidation involves not only the cleavage of CO bond, it also involves the cleavage of CH bond. See here, if I consider this is the alcohol, there is a cleavage of CO bond as well as there is a cleavage of CH bond. So that on oxidation what happens, there is a formation of double bond between oxygen. So this compound is formed. Carbonyl compounds are formed by the oxidation of alcohol. And here this is also referred as two hydrogens are removed. This is also referred as dehydrogenation. This can be referred as dehydrogenation. In case of alcohols, the oxidation is also referred as dehydrogenation. That is, the hydrogen is removed. That's why it can be referred as dehydrogenation. And here, for the oxidation of alcohol to the carbonyl compound, the oxidizing agents used are, we can use acidified potassium dichromate, or we can use alkaline KMnO4, acidified KMnO4, or nitric acid. So all these can be used as a oxidizing agents. And even some more oxidizing agents we can use to oxidize alcohol are PCC, that is pyridinium chlorochromate, which is called as Fourier's reagent. Even this can be used. We can use chromium anhydride, chromic anhydride, that is chromium trioxide in anhydrous condition. Even this can be used as a oxidizing agent. What product we are getting, it depends upon the nature of alcohol which we are taking and the condition. Okay, whether it is a stronger oxidizing agent, under strong conditions we are doing the oxidation, or under milder conditions. So depending upon both factors, we get the different products. Okay. First one is primary alcohol. So what happens when primary alcohol is subjected for oxidation? Primary alcohol undergoes oxidation very easily. So by using any oxidizing agent, even milder oxidizing agents can be used. So what happens? Primary alcohol on oxidation in presence of acidified potassium dichromate or alkaline KMnO4. So there is a formation of aldehyde. Further, this undergoes oxidation to form respective carboxylic acid. So primary alcohol on oxidation gives aldehyde. If we have stronger conditions, if we are using stronger oxidizing agents, then it further oxidizes to give carboxylic acid. And see here, the number of carbon atoms in the carboxylic acid and in the alcohol will be same. For example, if I take ethyl alcohol, CH3CH2OH, this is ethyl alcohol or ethanol. When this is subjected for oxidation, that is by the reaction of acidified potassium dichromate, that is K2Cr2O7 in presence of acidic medium H2SO4. So it liberates nascent oxygen which is subjected for, which is supplied for the oxidation. Okay. So this gives nascent oxygen which oxidizes ethanol to ethanol. So what happens? There is a formation of an aldehyde. CH3, CHO is formed. H2 is released. Dehydrogenation takes place. This ethanol further undergoes aldehyde. This further undergoes oxidation by the presence of strong oxidizing agents. There is a formation of ethanoic acid, that is CH3COOH. So what happens? Ethanoic acid is formed as a final product. Okay, so count the number of carbon atoms in the ethanol and in the ethanoic acid, both are same. Okay, so when we are using strong oxidizing agents, primary alcohol first oxidizes to aldehyde, further oxidizes to give carboxylic acid. If we want to stop the reaction at aldehyde step, we have to use selective oxidizing agents like chromic oxide, or we have to use PCC so that the reaction stops at the aldehyde stage. That is, further oxidation will not take place. So what we have to take? We have to use the same alcohol if I take, and if it is treated with chromic anhydride, chromic oxide in presence of anhydrous condition. If I can take this reagent, then there is a formation of ethanol. Further oxidation is not possible. And even you can use PCC. Pyridinium chlorochromate is also known as Fourier's reagent, which is a complex compound having formula C5H5N, that is pyridinium. Okay, pyridine. Okay, so this is a complex compound which is called as pyridinium chlorochromate. It is used to oxidize alcohol to aldehyde. Also oxidizes, it is a selective oxidizing agent which only oxidizes the alcohol to aldehyde. Okay, if any other groups are present, then also it will not oxidize that, whereas if we use these oxidizing agents, if any other groups are there which can be oxidizable, that also oxidizes in presence of strong oxidizing agent. We'll see the second example, that is secondary alcohol. So secondary alcohol is represented as RCHOH R-. So if this is subjected for oxidation, there is a formation of ketone. So when secondary alcohol is subjected for oxidation, what happens? There is a formation of a ketone. If we use strong oxidizing agent, this further oxidizes to give carboxylic acid. If we use milder oxidizing agent, then we can stop it at the ketonic step. For example, if I take here CH3, CHOH, CH3, this is propane 2-ol. When it is treated with chromic anhydride, chromic trioxide, chromic anhydride, this is in the anhydride condition. So what happens? There is a formation of propanone, that is ketone is formed as a product. If we use, instead of using this, if we use acidified potassium dichromate or alkaline KMnO4, which are acting as strong oxidizing agent, the complete oxidation takes place to form carboxylic acid. For example, if I take the same alcohol, propane 2-ol, when this is treated with potassium dichromate in acidic medium, the oxidation takes place first to form ketone. Then further this undergoes oxidation in the formation of ethanoic acid and formic acid, but that formic acid, because of the presence of strong oxidizing agent, it converts into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so like this the oxidation takes place. If we take tertiary alcohol instead of primary and secondary, it will not undergo oxidation so easily. Even if we take alkaline KMnO4 also, there is no oxidation. Tertiary alcohol undergoes oxidation only in presence of stronger oxidizing agents, that too in the acidic condition. If I take an example of tertiary alcohol like this, so this is the tertiary alcohol, right? So when this is subjected for oxidation, as I said, tertiary alcohol undergoes oxidation only in presence of strong acidic medium. So in presence of acidic medium, what happens? Tertiary alcohol undergoes dehydration first, and after that it undergoes oxidation. This is 2-methyl butane 2-ol, right? This is 2-methyl butane 2-ol. When it is subjected for oxidation in presence of potassium dichromate in the acidic medium, first it is undergoing elimination reaction, that is dehydration takes place, loss of water, OH from this carbon, H from an adjacent carbon is removed. So there is a formation of an alkene. Okay, so this alkene is formed. Now this is subjected for oxidation. First it undergoes dehydration, after that oxidation takes place at this step, and there is a formation of mixture of ketone and carboxylic acid. So we are getting here mixture of propanone and acetic acid, ethanoic acid. So like this we get the reaction. So tertiary alcohols are not undergoing oxidation under mild condition. It undergoes oxidation only under strong condition in the acidic medium, that too on oxidation. First it undergoes a dehydration, after that oxidation takes place to give mixture of ketone and carboxylic acid, or it may give just the mixture of carboxylic acids. The last reactions are action of heated copper with the different alcohols. So when different alcohols are passed over heated copper, preheated copper, what happens, what product we are getting, that we will see now. The first example I take of primary alcohol. So when primary alcohol, the vapors of primary alcohol, when it is passed over preheated copper at 573 Kelvin temperature, the dehydrogenation takes place. Dehydrogenation means removal of hydrogen takes place to form aldehyde. When primary alcohol is passed over, the vapors of primary alcohol is passed over copper at 573 Kelvin temperature, there is a formation of aldehyde. We'll write an example. When ethanol CH3CHOH, when it is passed over copper at 573 Kelvin temperature, we are getting respective aldehyde, that is nothing but CH3CHO we are getting, that is ethanol. Ethanol is converted to ethanol by heating it with copper at 573 Kelvin temperature. Removal of hydrogen takes place. It's a dehydrogenation reaction. Secondary alcohol CHOH R-. So when this is subjected for the same reaction, that is when the vapors of secondary alcohol is passed over preheated copper at 573 Kelvin temperature, the dehydrogenation takes place, H2 is removed, there is a formation of ketone, that is RCO R-. So there is a formation of ketone by the secondary alcohol. If I take an example of propane to all on the same reaction, we are getting propanol, that is acetone is formed as a product. Okay, so in both the cases dehydrogenation takes place, removal of hydrogen takes place. What happens if I take a tertiary alcohol? See, I will take directly an example of tertiary butyl alcohol. So tertiary butyl alcohol vapors are passed through a copper at 573 Kelvin temperature. Here dehydrogenation will not take place, rather than that it undergoes dehydration reaction, that is loss of water takes place, elimination reaction takes place, and there is a formation of 2-methyl propane. So 2-methyl propane to all, that is nothing but tertiary butyl alcohol on heating with copper at 573 Kelvin temperature gives 2-methyl propane. It gives 2-methyl propane. There is a loss of water, dehydration takes place in case of tertiary butyl alcohol, whereas in primary and secondary alcohol it is undergoing dehydrogenation reaction to form aldehyde and ketone respectively. So these are the chemical reactions of alcohols. The reactions which involves the cleavage of OH bond, in that we have studied the reaction with metal, then we have studied esterification reaction, and in the reactions involving cleavage of CO bond, you have studied the dehydration reaction, then reaction with hydrogen halide, reaction with phosphorus halide, and finally we have studied the reactions like oxidation and dehydrogenation reaction by using copper. Okay, so these are all the chemical reactions which alcohol shows, and that completes the alcohol section.